Last year, I spent around 800 hours making content, ideating, writing, filming, editing, cutting clips, writing captions, and then posting. And if I asked you right now what you actually built from those 800 hours, what asset, what system, what compounding leverage you can point to, you couldn't name one thing. And that's not a content problem, that's a life problem. Those hours came out of your Quran, your family, your sleep, your sales calls. You traded them for posts nobody watched twice. In 2026, content is no longer a one-man job, it's a 4-stage system. And if you don't have a delegate for each stage, AI is not going to come and save you. It's going to expose you. The gap between an operator using AI properly and a creator one-shotting prompts into ChatGPT is about to become unsurvivable. So I'm going to show you exactly how I delegate all stages: ideation, scripting, editing, and posting, and the 4 rules that stops your brand from hallucinating into the ground. Here's what most creators' weeks look like right now. Monday, they sit down to come up with ideas. Tuesday, they write a script alone from scratch, staring at a blank doc. And on Wednesday, they film. On Thursday, they sit in CapCut for 6 hours, cutting their own face. Friday, they manually upload to YouTube, then recut 3 clips for Instagram, then write 3 captions and post them one by one. By Saturday, they're cooked, and by Sunday, they've probably posted 1 piece of content that whole entire week. And the worst part, by next Monday, they've forgotten the whole process. Everything that they learned from it. The system just doesn't get better. It doesn't get smarter. You just repeat the same thing, even more tired. And that's not a content strategy, bro. That's a hobby with a deadline. And the reason it feels impossible, because it is impossible for one person to do all 4 jobs and have a business, have connection with their deen, and have time for their family. And something has to give, and usually it's all 3. There's an ayah I think about every time I do something manually that a system could do for me. By time, indeed mankind is lost. Surah Al-Asr. That's the entire warning. Time. The one resource Allah gave you which you cannot earn back, and you can't refund it. You cannot pray Qadr Salah and recover. Every hour you spent cutting your own clips is an hour you didn't spend with your wife, with your kids, with your family, with your Quran, with your sales calls, and with your ummah. So when I look at the 4 stages of making my content: ideation, writing, editing, posting, I don't ask how I do this faster. I ask myself, what am I willing to die having spent my time on? And the answer is never cutting the same B-roll for the 8th time this month. So here's how I actually run it: 4 stages, 4 delegations. None of them are me sitting alone with a blank screen. At stage 1, ideation. I don't come up with ideas, my DMs come up with the ideas. Every conversation I have on Instagram gets scanned. The language gets extracted into what I call a language bank, and the patterns get clustered into a heat map. By the time I sit down to think about my content, the top 5 things my audience is actually struggling with this week is already on the page. So I'm not guessing, I'm responding. Right now, I literally type 2 phrases into my Claude Code, scan my DMs. Every conversation from the last 7 days gets extracted into the language bank, scored by recency, frequency, and buying signal. Then DM heat map. The top 5 clusters show up ranked. By the time I'm thinking about what to film, the map is already on the table. Stage 2, writing. I don't write scripts from scratch anymore. I have a command, 1 phrase I type, and it pulls from my brand sheets, my knowledge base, my values, my offer stack, and the heat map from stage 1. It drafts the script in my voice, with my Islamic references already verified, and clip markers already pre-written for my editor. My job is to verify, not to generate. That's a completely different cognitive load. 1 phrase I type, write a top of funnel script, and Claude pulls from my brand sheets, my knowledge base, my offer stack, my voice, and the heat map from stage 1. 1 minute later, I'm looking at a full draft. It takes 30 seconds, bro. Timestamps, tone directions, Islamic frame already cited, clip markers already ready. I refine 10%, the other 90 I would have spent staring at a blank document. Stage 3, editing. I don't sit in CapCut anymore. I film and I hand a raw file to my editor with clip cuts already marked, timestamp inside the script. And AI does the first cleanup before he even touches it. So he's not guessing what to cut. I already told him what to cut. That collapses a 6-hour edit into about 90 minutes. I don't write captions on the day of posting. The Instagram captions for every clip are written already inside the script before the video is even filmed. By the time the clip reaches the editor, the caption is already on it. And here's the part most people skip. Every piece of content gets a matching story sequence, pulled from the same DM scan that gave me the idea in the first place. So if the heat map says my audience is struggling with X this week, the long form video is on X, the reels is on X, and the stories that day add a 3rd touch point on X. Same theme, same language, and same layers. One piece of content is never one impression anymore. It's a campaign itself. The DM scan feeds the ideation feeds the script feeds the clips, and the clips gets amplified by stories pulled from the same source, and the loop closes. Now here's the part nobody talks about. The system itself gets smarter. 2 tools, Obsidian and Graphify. It turns every script, every DM, every sales call into a node. in a connected knowledge graph. So the AI I use next month is much smarter than the AI I used last month. That's the difference between a system and a tool that learns. And this is where most newcomers get wrong with AI. AI is not Google. AI is a system. Google is a search engine. You ask one question and you get one answer. You close the tab, and that's not what AI is. AI is a system you have to build a ground truth for. Give persistent memory to it and build rules around it. Because if you treat it like Google, it will hallucinate. It will make stuff up about your brand and it will burn your brand. So here's the rules. 1. Never let it guess. Give it your real files, your real numbers, your real voice. If it doesn't know, it should say I don't know. It shouldn't invent it for you. 2. Never let it operate on its own every time. Make it read the file every single time. 3. Never let it speak about Islam without a verified reference. If the ayah isn't source, it gets cut. And 4. Build commands, not prompts. One-shot prompts makes you a Google user and commands makes you a real operator. That's the difference between using AI and getting used by it. Look, if you're still ideating alone, writing alone, editing alone, and posting alone in 2026, you're working harder than most people ever understand. The problem is the model itself. One person cannot do 4 jobs alone and also be a Muslim and be your husband and be there for your family. Something is going to break and usually it's you. I run a free training every other Sunday and exactly how this works. The ideation stack, the script command, the editor handoff, the posting layer, and the rules that stop the AI from hallucinating. If you want it, the link is below.